Hello, everyone.
Hello, Facebook, YouTube. In a minute, I'm going to show up on IG. We are all here. We're actually, well, not all here. We're waiting for Karen too to pop on with us. Hello, everybody. Let us get connected over here.
Hello, everyone on Instagram. Welcome. I'm just typing in the title, and then I'm going to invite some folks to join me here.
Give us a minute, Facebook and YouTube. We're connecting over here on IG at the same time. We want to be everywhere. We got some amazing stuff.
Hello, Hustle versus
Flow. Share with you guys today. I'm going to hit request.
All right.
I'm requesting to join.
Okay, I was going to say hit request. Okay, there you are. I see you. Allison, you're joining us on the live too, right? Or is it just Wow. Okay, so
there I am.
Hello, welcome everyone. So we are actually streaming. There's Keisha. Hello. All right, so we are streaming on Facebook and Instagram. So we're trying to get all that situated before we get going. Okay, Allison, I see you. If you just request to join, I'll go ahead and bring you on.
Request to join.
You probably have to turn your phone down on Instagram so we don't get the feedback. Or put in ear pods.
Let me see. Do you guys see enough of my face on Instagram? That's probably as best as I can do over on Instagram. Hey, Instagram. Hey, Facebook, YouTube.
Hello.
Hi. We'll get started in just a few seconds.
Okay, ladies, if you're going to have to turn down the volume on one. So either put in an earpiece for your phone.
Oh, my phone's not on.
Feedback.
Yeah, my phone's
not on. I'm getting feedback from you when you're talking. So.
You're getting feedback from me?
Mm-hmm. Hello, Brenda. How are you?
I don't have Instagram up, the volume up at all.
I don't either.
So it's probably just feedback in general.
It could be. That's fine. Welcome, everyone. We're getting started while we're waiting on one of our other hosts to join us, but we are also streaming on several different platforms, including Instagram Live and Facebook. So we're trying to get it together. Allison, I don't see your request yet. Hello, Sabrina. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Casey. Thank you for joining us. So we're, if you haven't already seen or tried the feature out, Instagram Live now allows you to go live with 4 people. So we're doing that while we're also streaming over on Facebook, and we're going to get right into this conversation. If you just bear with us. Hello, everyone on Facebook land. Let me fix my camera here.
If you're plugging in with us on Facebook, go ahead and hit us in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Where are you tuning in from? We definitely want you to connect here and us to kind of have this ongoing discussion with you. We're going to be jumping on in just a few seconds here. Just want to make sure we're all good to go on both platforms. We're literally people in, I want to say, 12 different places right now. So literally everywhere you can be pretty much on social media. And I'm going to go ahead and, is Allison on the IG yet? No.
It's not letting me join for some reason.
It's not letting you join?
No, I'm sending the request and it just says request wasn't sent.
You know what? Hold on. No, there you are. I got you.
Oh, you see it?
FEI in the house. FEI in the house. Hey, Karen.
Here we go. You got me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, really. Karen, we need you over on IG too. You have your phone for IG? Oh, good. We have Allison. Oh, Karen's frozen.
Okay, Sabrina is, yes, we are on IG. So I have lots of folks over here tuning in on IG, but we are also going live on Facebook. So you'll see me. I've tried to keep my cameras as close as possible so that I'm not looking away, but you'll also see me looking down because there's 4 of us. We're waiting on Karen to join us from FEI Agency. And then we're going to get this show on the road. Listen, I am so ready for my shirt. It has been too long, ladies. So let's connect ASAP because I'm ready to wear my Super L shirt. Yes, I have a friend.
You said your Super L shirt?
Yeah, there's a friend of mine. She's on Instagram. Her name is with Tania Fox. And we were in a group, I think sometime last year or the year before, and she called me Super L. And I was like, oh, I like that name. And she's like, I'm going to make a shirt with Super L on it. So she's chatting and telling me she's still has my shirt. Hello, Chic Diva Geek in Healthy Homes, Virginia. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us live here on Instagram. We're also simultaneously broadcasting live on Facebook, and we're in 12 different locations. So you will hear maybe some feedback, but you'll see Keisha Puckett here in I think it's switched around. So probably my right or your right lower screen. She's actually on my left. And then you'll see Allison Carver from the Manifestation Society on the left of your screen, which she's actually on my right. And if you're watching the replay, I'm sure it'll show up that way. But either way, ladies, say hello to the IG fam. Introduce yourself.
Hello.
As we're waiting on here, just kind of get into what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, first, what I want to do, I don't want to assume that everybody knows who we are. And so I definitely want to start with a brief introduction of who we are, what, and really the why and why we're here today. But we are definitely going to jump right in. And come on, Facebook and YouTube. Don't let Instagram outdo you. We need to see your comments rolling through as well. We see a lot of activity on Instagram. We want to see the same activity on Facebook. Anyway, my name is Keisha Puckett, pronounced with an H, but there is no H there. I am the founder and CEO of KP Media TV. We are a streaming TV network, but we are more than that, and we're going to get all into that today. We are literally an ecosystem doing some incredible things in the space. I have been in the marketing and branding industry for over 20 plus years, multiple different industries. I've built businesses from scratch. Started my first business and launched my first licensing deal.
Pause for a second.
Let's
pause. Because there's a lot of feedback. Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say that let's check in with the audience to see if they're hearing it, and there's a lot of feedback. Yeah, so we may have to just do it on Facebook and ask everyone to join us on Facebook on the KP Media TV page, because it's not going to work this way. There's the feedback is crazy.
Wait, before we do that, Elle, put everybody on. Everybody, can you go on mute while I'm talking? Let's see if that improves it. All right. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on mute real quick. Okay, so for our IG friends, is this better? As I'm talking, do you hear a lot of feedback? Oh, you still hear a lot of feedback, Elle? Okay, so yeah, definitely everybody's gonna need to go over to Facebook. So if you go to the KP Media, we're gonna go ahead and log off of Instagram, because there's too much feedback. Okay, Sabrina, thanks for letting us know. Go over to the KP Media TV. Can you type it in there for me, Elle? KP Media TV Facebook page. If you go there, you'll be able to watch this. So go ahead and head over there. And we're going to sign off of Instagram. Hey, Tamika over in Facebook. Hey, thanks for joining us. We almost got Instagram in the mix. It's okay. We'll wait
on Instagram for a second so that people know where to join us at. Hey, Tamika.
All right. So I'm going to start it over. And as people join us, then, by the time they kind of move over, then we should be good to go to kind of dive into the meat of this. But I first wanted us all to kind of introduce ourselves. Starting with myself, my name is Keisha Puckett. If you don't know me already, I am the founder and CEO of KP Media TV. We are a streaming TV platform, but much more than that, we're a whole ecosystem. We're going to be diving in that today and why it matters to you and why you should care. We're going to be sharing a whole bunch of things around that. And the why, I'm going to talk about the why we did this as we kind of get through all of the nitty gritty of everything dealing with content creation, distribution, visibility, monetization, and what you really need to be paying attention to this year and doing differently in the space. So really excited to be here with all of the ladies with me today. This has been long overdue, so I'm really excited to be doing this with them. A little bit more about me, and then it looks like Elle might be a little occupied, so I might jump down to either Karen or Allison to introduce themselves. But I have been in the marketing and branding industry for over 20 plus years. I have always been an entrepreneur, literally since the age of 16, owned my first restaurant business and licensing deal at the age of 23. So I have been in business for a number of years, consulting, beauty brands, male-dominated industry in the transportation, quite a bit that I've done in the space, and I say all of that to say, that is kind of why I have this why for KP Media TV and the way that we're doing things with the network. It's very much so about the business side of things as much as it is about the distribution and content creators. So Elle fell off. I don't know what happened to Elle, but we'll go to Allison. Hey, Allison, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, hello. My name is Allison. I am a manifestation and mindset expert. I'm the CEO of the Manifestation Society, and I'm a new talk show host to KP Media. And I'm so excited to be here. So excited.
I am so excited too. I am here. Okay, Elle's here. She's reconnecting. So Karen, where you at? We see your chair and all of your chair. We want you to introduce yourself, lady. Okay, Elle's back.
Hey, all right. Gotta love. I mean, listen, I don't know what was going on. Instagram Live does not ever play nice with me. I think I've only had one really good experience. So what you all didn't hear in the background was my phone going off like a police siren. I was like locked out of my phone and trying to post what little bit of video we did have over on IGTV. So for those of you who have joined us here over on Facebook or YouTube from Instagram Live, thank you so much for taking the time to come from one platform to the next. We want to make sure that this is an amazing experience for you. And so we decided to end the IG Live due to the feedback and echo. With that said, I am KL Jones. I'd absolutely love it if you just call me Elle. I am a brand and media consultant, a producer, director, filmmaker, and TV host of my own live TV docuseries, Beauty Behind the Brand Live, which we launched in 6 days in the middle of a pandemic. I'm also the CEO and founder of Elevate Now Creative Media, which is a branding and media production agency, and also the founder of KEJN, the KL Jones Network, which is distributed on KP Media TV. Super excited to be here with you all and can't wait to dig in, answer your questions, chit chat, feedback, and have fun on a Friday evening. So with that, let's go, ladies.
Let's go. Okay, Karen's not here to introduce herself. We just see the chair, so she's going to have to introduce herself a little bit later. But yeah, let's get into it. I think the first place to really start talking about is like this whole thing with streaming, right? We've heard quite a bit regarding the digital stuff that's happening. And because of everything we've experienced over the last year, even that has heightened even more in streaming TV. Lots of different things happening in that industry as far as streaming apps coming out and all of that. So I want to first dig into, what is streaming TV? For those that are in the space, you're probably more familiar. For those that are not quite cable cutters yet, it's probably not as familiar to you. So let's talk about that, ladies. Uh-oh.
So what's your question? I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on just a second. Okay, Karen, before we get to that, Karen, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Is she froze?
That's good. Oh. Hey, sunshines, how you guys doing today? I am Karen, better known as a leverage lady. I can help you leverage your life, your brand, and your legacy. That's what I do. So if you have a product that you've in the marketplace, I'm your girl. My name is Karen, and I am done speaking.
Karen got the whole Clubhouse thing going. So, okay. Oh Karen has been on Clubhouse.
Keep it short and sweet.
Okay. So back to the original thing I was talking about. So to answer Elle's question, what is the question? What is streaming TV? So for those of you that either are not cable cutters yet, I know you've heard a lot of conversation and news and everything that's going on around the streaming TV industry. But I want to define it. I want to talk about kind of the space in general and anything you ladies want to add as it relates to what streaming TV is and why should we care as content creators as far as the way we look at our content and how we distribute.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and jump in and for the sake of keeping it in layman's terms, because not everyone will be technical or have the same level of awareness or
Right.
knowledge about the industry that maybe some of us do. And so on the very basic level, streaming television is a way to distribute content, media content specifically. So, and television content or film. So when you think about big streaming platforms like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, what are some other ones? Tubi, Peacock, which is one that has become really popular here most recently, or even smaller but independent streaming platforms like All Black, or which was formerly UMC TV, BET Plus. Those are all streaming TV platforms that distribute both television and film content, whether it's original series or some of the shows and films that we loved and don't have access to through traditional cable. So that's kind of the synopsis of what streaming television is.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit, because when we say a lot of the times, you don't have a whole lot of time to really dig into like our particular model when it relates to KP Media TV. So the first thing we say, just like when I introduced myself, KP Media TV, we're a streaming TV platform. However, we are much more than that. We're an ecosystem, and I kind of want to talk about that and how we're different. There's various layers of why we're different. One of those layers is we are a paid model, but I want to more so focus on how we're pioneering in the space and what makes us different from some of the platforms that Elle mentioned, or what makes us different from streaming what's going on in streaming TV in general. And I want to kind of dig deep into the ecosystem piece. So let's talk about the platform first. So like Elle mentioned, some of the platforms are very much so used to platforms offering distribution, whether it be by way of video on demand, VOD, where you go, you check it out, you want to watch this thing, you press play, and you're able to check it out. We see a lot of that. So with KP Media TV, it's a little bit different. However, there's layers, right? So there's, our platform, we have a live broadcasting. So when a live broadcasting channel, actually. So when you look at, Elle, did we lose you?
No, I'm here. I have to sneeze.
Oh, I was like, oh gosh. So when we look at like the framework of the platform itself, there's various levels. So we have a live broadcast channel. So just like we're doing here in social media, that's one of the parts. So let's talk a little bit about that, ladies, on the live broadcasting piece. Let me go to Allison, because she has a show that's coming out really soon. So does Karen. She has actually 2 shows that are coming out, and then Elle just finished up her docuseries last year, and she's coming back with season 2. So she can actually, when she pops back on, can speak to how that live broadcasting piece kind of plays out. So Allison, with yours, that live broadcasting piece, give me some of your insight on that, on how you feel that you're going to be using that with like your show structure and the benefit that you see with that live broadcasting piece.
Well, I think for my show, I'm actually going to be doing simulated live, but I will say, I think the benefits of it is that community interaction, right? Like once you're live, you can just chat with your people that are watching. You can answer questions. You can really interact with your audience. And I feel like that is so unique. Like when you're doing a YouTube video, you can't do that. I mean, I guess you sort of can. You can answer questions like after the fact, but not live and in living color, like right there when it's happening. And I think that is so awesome. I think that's really fun.
Yeah,
I think you can. I think you can, for those who would chime in. I think with YouTube, you are able to answer live during that piece. It's a whole other piece about YouTube, which I'm sure we'll dig into later, and why maybe that is not a viable option for a lot of people. Yeah, but no, I love that community interaction, that audience interaction. And again, like you said, even if we look at, and I'll use this as an example because I've been on the show before, the Tamron Hall show. It is an incredible production, an amazing show, and they've had to pivot, shift, adjust, whichever terminology you want to use, just like everyone else in the industry. And so what you'll see now a lot of times, especially for shows who usually had a live audience, and this is obviously just applicable to daytime talk shows, they now have people who are calling in from Skype, or they're on Zoom, or just to even be an audience member, they're on a screen, right? And they're using some other streaming platform to allow them to do that. But even with that, Tamron, as the host of her show, is not necessarily able to engage with her audience live because of the structure of the show and then the time that they have. And so now it's really about just focusing on the guests. And while I'm sure that her audience still loves that component of it, they would much rather still have some aspect of that live in-person audience, benefit that they would normally get if they were in studio. So that, what you said, Allison, is so on point, in that when you are streaming live, it allows the host, the content creator, whatever position you're in, the person that's in front of the camera, to be able to engage with their audience in real time. But it also allows their viewers, their audience, to feel very much a part of the production that's happening as it's happening.
Yeah, and I think too, the unique part, like when you start looking at social media versus streaming TV, I think when you put it in a right category with streaming TV, most times you don't see the different layers of the different features. Like typically you'll see VOD and that's it. But the fact that you're able to kind of take what's awesome in social media, having that social engagement and the live streaming and all of that live interaction happen into the streaming space, get the global distribution for all of those TV endpoints, and then still have VOD, that's the part. Like bringing the two brilliant worlds together under one umbrella is what I really love about it, as far as the platform is concerned, and what's a little bit different, a lot different. And so that's one of the things. And so the network also, and I know you ladies haven't been able to take advantage of some of these other layers that we have as far as the network is concerned, but just the network being as robust as it is. Like one of the things we have is a subscription base. So we're very used to like some of the subscription, like if you go to Netflix or Hulu, you have a monthly subscription to gain access. Well, KP Media TV is wide open as far as a free channel to come in. And so it doesn't stop any of that visibility and traffic from coming in and experiencing the shows. But in addition to that, we have a premiere channel. And I want to talk a little bit about that and the different opportunities and options we could be thinking about as content creators, because that that paid channel is also an opportunity for things like masterclass courses and things to happen. Like some of the similar ones that we see in social media, where you can pay a monthly subscription, or viewers can pay a monthly subscription, and they can access premium content. So not only do you can be on the free side of the network, but you're also able to be on the premium side of the network in sharing in that subscription model. So my question here would be, as we kind of look at that model, when we look at courses, there's coaches, consultants, the masterclass model, what are some opportunities that we see content creators being able to do in a streaming platform with utilizing that feature? Like, what have you guys thought about around that as an opportunity for them?
Well, before we answer that, I wanted to go back to what your question was. I know it was like kind of a roundtable in terms of what that independent distribution has looked like for us across the board, or what we look for, or what's exciting about that whole streaming TV model. And I think that's the big part. Like the monetization conversation for sure is super important. But I understand that we have like a vast audience, and so they'll fall in different buckets or categories. And so I want to talk to the fact that I wasn't necessarily considered a content creator, right? But definitely a consultant, an expert, or thought leader in my space, leveraging video and helping my clients to do the same to establish and scale their authority. But I'm also on the creative side, a filmmaker, right? I have a background in television and film and entertainment over 30 years. And so for me, at the time that the pandemic hit, we were just getting ready to start back up production on my documentary film called Beauty Behind the Brand. And much like everyone across the world, when the pandemic hit, we had to explore new ways to continue to show up, run our businesses, put our messages out into the world. And so for me, what streaming TV offered me was an opportunity to shift pivot again, depending on what word you like. It all means the same. But I was able to take the foundation of my film that was still in production and create an extension of that project and turn it into a television project, which was Beauty Behind the Brand Live, the docuseries. And so I think that's really important, is like really understanding the depth of opportunities that are available for you, and not just being in this linear thinking mode where you only see one way to get your story, your message, your content, your creativity out into the world. And streaming television, and especially with, you know, distribution, independent distribution, has opened up this whole new beautiful world that, yes, does lead to and include monetization.
Absolutely. Karen, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Karen, I know Karen was trying to chime in. I don't know if she's still having connection.
I was going to say that. Can you hear me? Is it late? Is it delayed, or is it on time?
Yeah, it's a little delayed. But go ahead. Let's see.
Okay. I was going to say that what I love about the subscription is gives opportunity for people who really are talented, but yet they can't get in the spaces they need to be. They can actually have their voice by creating their own content. They create their content, they can actually monetize it themselves, and they have ownership in their projects. They get to be the boss of their projects. They have opportunity to line up with brands and create their own avenue for themselves. Because oftentimes when you don't have the subscription, you put it on YouTube, then what happens? YouTube can say, oh, okay, we're not going to let your views be seen that much. You can put it on TikTok. We're not going to suppress your views on both of those platforms. Then what? You know, so my thing is, you want to always put yourself in a position of power. You know, you can have a subscription with a website and all these things are built out, and you have ownership.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
so. That's what's so attractive to me about having a subscription model, especially with KP Media TV.
Yeah, I think you're freezing up still a little bit, Karen.
Super delayed. I'm gonna change laptops, so maybe.
Okay.
I'm gonna change laptops.
Okay, sounds good. Allison, did you have something to add to that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the opportunities that KP Media has given me just within the last month has just been amazing. And I would say for the last 8 years I've been in business, you know, I haven't been able to get my foot in the door, just like Karen was just saying. Like,
right.
You got to know the right people, or you got to have the meeting and set it up. And I just think the opportunities and how big you can grow is really up to us, you know, like whatever we want, like however big we want to be, we have the platform to do it. And I think that is so amazing, really.
And you know what? That's what I like about it too, because everybody's path is going to be different. Mine is going to be different from Elle. Mine is going to be different from your Allison, vice versa. And that's what I found the uniqueness in this. Now, we've already moved from it just being streaming TV into other spaces that you typically don't hear about when you're talking about distribution. Because typically you'll say, you know, distribution, and you're thinking a transactional type of thing that happens. You have content, a film, a show, a series, a documentary, whatever it is you have, and you have a place home for it, and then it's distributed out. We've already gone from that to talking about more of the business parts of why it makes sense. And I kind of want to dig into that a little bit more as far as the business side of all of this and how it makes sense as far as the community, the benefits that are there, because it's much bigger than just distribution. As a matter of fact, distribution is really only the tool that's used within the ecosystem. That's it. It's not even that's literally it. It's one piece of a bigger pie. And so I do want to just mention a couple other things with the platform before we kind of talk about the business side of it. But even when it comes to pay-per-view, so with the platform, and this is somewhat, I announced it over the last week, that even there's pay-per-view opportunities. So like when it comes to event promoters, event producers, event planners that we already know we shifted to digital and streaming, that if you want to have pay-per-view types of things happen on the network and have that global distribution, you're able to do that. The network can handle it. It can handle the traffic. It's not going to glitch up like what we've seen on IG. We've seen a lot of that going on in social media, where there have been brands and people using those different platforms to either monetize or create experiences, and they've created issues. And you're just not going to have that type of issue happen with streaming TV when you're a part of, you know, a network that can, you know, definitely support that type of traffic. And so that's another point. The other thing is the audio production. I know, Elle, you were mentioning, I think we were talking about like the whole podcasting thing. I think you're more so into you personally are not into the podcasting world, but that is definitely an interest of yours with podcasters and things that are done by audio production. That's a huge thing right now. And so another layer to the platform is not just VOD, is not just pay-per-view, it's not just the live broadcasting channel, but it's also audio productions. So when it comes to audio productions, drama audio, when it comes to podcasting and things like that, you can get the same type of distribution. And so what would you say, Elle, is a benefit when it comes to audio production? We know we have the iTunes and the Google Podcast, which we also distribute in those places as well, all at the same time. But what makes this unique and different for podcasters to start thinking about, or those that create audio dramas to start producing and distributing on streaming TV?
Yeah, so the big thing is that I want people to really kind of get, because I know we're delivering a lot of information, right? And when we're used to the language, sometimes people may disconnect just because they don't understand. So the way that you really look at this whole thing, everything that KP Media TV does, and offers is, like you said, it's beyond a streaming television or distribution platform. That really is like the very basic level of what we do, even through the KL Jones Network. And so what I like to describe it as is this comprehensive, full service digital solution, right? Digital media solution.
I like that. Wait a minute, just pause. I was like, I like that. We're gonna have to take a note. I'm gonna put that in the message.
Too. It's so well said, so succinctly.
Oh, thank you. I try. I'm like, I did really well in public speaking in college, so it better pay off at this point. No, but it is a digital solution, and it's really a comprehensive, full service digital solution for both the business and entertainment industry. So whether you're a thought leader, you're an author who has a book that you want to turn into a media, some form of a media project, whether you are a filmmaker, a producer, a director, or you're a content creator somewhere in the middle, whether you've been on YouTube or you're a podcaster, you really step into this full service ecosystem where you have digital solutions across the board that span branding, marketing, distribution, production, monetization. They're all, and yes, I said them out of order, but you get the gist, right? It is this full service digital solution that you have that outside of this ecosystem, you would have to pay for podcasting here. You'd have to, if you have a podcast, you'd have to go and pay someone to then film your podcast. Or if you have a video podcast, it's just that. Do you have anyone that can extract the audio for you in a format that works really well for those audio platforms like iTunes or Google Play, or even if it's like Spotify or something, which we don't do, but I'm just using that as an example. We do iTunes and Google for sure. And so it's really this idea of creating content once, and then it having all of these different branches, that stretch far beyond. And we're taught that, especially as entrepreneurs, create content once, create something that's called evergreen, an evergreen model. And what the KP Media TV distribution model allows is for people to create content once and do that. So for podcasters who have, whether it's a business podcast, a drama series, a comedy series, you think about not just being able to reach your people on iTunes and Google, but how do you set yourself apart as a podcaster? Oh, now you add in this whole other global distribution piece that goes on television. Mm-hmm. And so you literally can take what you're already doing, but add a video component to it. I like to refer to it as film because it's a little bit more than video and just taking your phone and setting it up and recording, right? So there's this full production value that goes into it. But
you mean to tell me it's not like just like this?
No, ma'am. No, those days are over. Like, not if you're, you can do it, right? And there are people who teach, all you need is your phone. That's fine. But if you're really serious about your craft with anything, If you're serious about your business, if you're going to invest in the best tools and resources and mentorship to help get you to where you want to go. And so we're talking to leaders, we're talking about trailblazers, we're talking about legacy builders. Those people do things differently, right? You don't find them doing the same things that everyone else is doing.
And that's what's so different about our community too. And that leads me right into the community, because I want to talk about that, because that's what definitely sets us apart. Again, I mentioned we're not a transactional business. We're very much so about building community. Those have personally known me, you're just meeting me. I've always been about building community in whatever I build, whether it's on the tech side, whether it's traditional business or KP Media TV. For me, it's always been about a collective, brilliant minds coming together and really just leveraging that synergy and everything, all that brilliance coming to the table, and using that to then move forward and to really transform lives at the end of the day, because that's what we're doing. So it is all about the legacy piece. We're very much so about that. And I want to talk about the community aspect, because again, we've already so far have moved far away from it being just distribution. Like here's a piece of content and then I'm distributed. Let's talk a little bit about the community, and maybe Allison, you've been with us a little over a month and have been able to experience that. What was some of the things that you found? Because when you first came in, you knew quite a bit when you made a decision to join in on the community and you were approved for the network. But what are some things that kind of shocked you about the community coming in that you didn't think about?
I think for me, just the collaboration, and everyone has been, I mean, this is going to sound so basic, but everybody has been so welcoming and so nice and just so like, let's work together. Let me help you solve your problem. If I have a question, I can ask and I get 15 answers. I mean, it's unmatched how supportive and encouraging everybody has been. It's just been such a wonderful feeling. Like, it's just such a great vibe being a part of this group. And that I felt it when I auditioned to join the network. I could feel it. And I remember saying to my husband, I was like, I want to be with these people. Like, this is my tribe. These are my people. Like, I went in on this because I could feel it. And I just, and now that I'm in it, it's even more surpassed that, so.
And that's important, because a lot of people feel like on their own, like when they're doing this whole thing, whether they have like a series on Facebook or YouTube or wherever it's at, one of the things that I always get back when I'm having conversations with people is they feel like they're by themselves trying to figure it out. And it's very much so frustrating, and it's very overwhelming when things are coming, at them at like a train speed of do this and do that, as far as, to get your numbers up on this platform or that platform, but you're still like working from this silo of trying to do it on your own. And that's one of the things that, we wanted to do for the network, is like solving that issue, because there's going to be times where you need to bounce things off of someone. There's going to be a time when you need like a focus group really quick to, do some things with, right? Or just, just having that support in place. And you don't find that. You don't find that at all.
No. And I love too how it's like one-stop shopping. Like, your agency can help me with tech stuff, with branding, with graphics, with stuff that does not light me up at all. Right. So like I can get my technical questions answered, and like even the production piece, like I don't have the knowledge of any of that, nor do I need to. I don't need to know how to do it, which is so amazing, really.
So it lets you focus on your brilliance. And I think even before the network, I was always saying, I was like, why are you trying to wear 50 million hats and trying to do everything that's not, it's like, focus on your thing. And then you get the people that can be in those positions in that place, or play that role for you to then do the things that need to be done in your business, right? But you don't have to be trying to figure it out or be doing DIY projects. Because again, like Elle mentioned, with showing up in excellence and making sure you're investing in yourself to do this. If this is something you want to do it on another level, you want to make sure you have things in place that it's professional. It's, because it's going to be representing your brand at the end of the day. So that, you have anything to add about community, Elle? I don't know hold on, let me see if Karen's having.
I'm taking care of it. I got it.
Oh, are you? Okay, because because I was like, why is it going off for me?
No, it's fine. No, I think you both nailed it, but I think I want to drive home the importance of that, because some people might feel like, okay, community, great. That's not a big deal to them, right? But what's the value of that thing? Like what does that mean for you in terms of business? What does it allow you to do beyond like, oh, okay, they have a skill set that I don't have and I don't really need to know it. And that allows me to do this thing. But how does that make you feel? What does it do for your confidence? How you even show up in your business and serve your tribe and your community? What is the value piece that having those things in place, including community in like this really mastermind way, how does that support you in helping to reach your goals? I think that's more of a question than it is a comment of like, because I know personally, but it's, having Allison here, it's really amazing. I think it's a great viewpoint to have because none of us are here trying to sell anything. It's really about education and informing folks, but people can hear from us all the time about the platform. So it's great to have another voice of someone who has come in, in a different way and can share with their experiences even before launching their show, which we're really excited about because we're in production for Allison's show right now. So that question would be for you, Allison, kind of like, what does that value translate to for you?
Well, for me, it allows me to, I feel like I already said this, but it just allows me to just be me, and I can just show up as my best self and just do my thing. And I know that I'm going to get a quality product, which will ultimately, for my business, accelerate it, right? Like I'll get more money, I'll get more clients, I'll get more eyeballs because it'll be a really, really high quality product. Mm-hmm. And versus when it was me and my phone on YouTube, doing this, right. Yeah, those videos were great. And it got me here, which is a wonderful thing, but I know where I want to go next. And I need this support to get me there. So I don't know if that answered your question or not,
yeah.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Definitely does for me.
Elle mentioned something about, she said that mastermind piece. And that's the other thing. When I keep highlighting the distribution because, we're setting apart from just distribution. That's why I keep highlighting that going in the mastermind piece. When you look at, how our community is made up and how we do basically a monthly mastermind coming together, being able to flesh out, ideas, concepts. I have a marketing background. Elle has an advertising, marketing, and media background. She's been in both sides of the industry. Karen, which I think she's having issues, she'll pop back on. She's on the brand side and some other stuff that she's doing. And then there are others that are in the community that are also brilliant, not just us here that's on this screen. Right. Everybody brings a level of value to the community and to the network. And I am very sure that those are many of the reasons of why we're so successful with that community piece and the mastermind that happens. And so that's the thing that doesn't happen when you're in other types of setups.
Yeah. I'm going to speak to that point if I can for a second. So about that mastermind and collaborative piece. Yes. Tamika, you're right. It's definitely great to hear from someone who's using it, right? And that's important, and we know that. So that mastermind and collaborative piece, perfect example. We have another producer that's on the network. Her name is Siobhan Mitchell. She and I both have a production background. She has a podcast that was already in existence, before KP Media TV was birthed. And she's used to being on film sets. She's also a filmmaker as well. Well, being in that community together, we were able to bring our agencies together to create a new service. So I was already doing remote production on my own project. And then I began offering that as a service to my clients, some of whom have come through the KP Media TV family, right? Including Allison. But then what we decided to do was to scale what we were doing. And Siobhan was also in production, doing remote production for one of her shows called Anti-Cancel Culture. So we're both in this mastermind community. We both do the same thing, but we recognize and understand the power of being able to collaborate to reach more people and be more effective. And so now we're partnering together, our agencies, to provide remote production services, both of which we were already going to, have been doing, independently, but now it's like we're joining forces to be able to offer that service in a more succinct and effective way. And that's the beauty of it, because doing remote production is a huge undertaking. Tamika Briscoe, you see her comments in the audience. She also as a producer, and she has a series that she remotely produced. And so it is not an easy, like just set up a camera, have your mic, and then turn the camera on and go. There's a lot that goes into it. It's pre-production, production, post-production. And then if you're trying to do all of that on your own, and then you have other parts of your business or your brand that you need to tend to, you'll burn out really quickly. So for me, a tremendous value add was like, hey, I want to continue to offer this, but how can I do it in a scalable way that allows me to still show up and serve very powerfully, but not drain me in the process, and create an opportunity for other people to win. And so that collaboration with Sam Studios and Elevate Now Creative Media was birthed, and here we are, and it's amazing. So that's a benefit even from a business standpoint. It's not just about, oh, I have my own network on KP Media TV. Honestly, I'm not monetizing it in that way. I monetize my show and my platform in other ways, but I also have a business outside of the content that I'm creating and distributing. So it allows me to scale at a much more rapid pace and to do it within community.
And that's the thing, like going into this, it has always been like, the vision that I even had for the network was really to look at this as a business, not just a series, a show, a YouTube thing. I'm doing this documentary, but I really was passionate about bringing that whole business model into the space of media TV, because I saw too much on the traditional TV side, as well as when you come to social media, too many people producing stuff, putting out brilliant content, but it wasn't really solidifying their media brand for legacy and long term. And it was not being monetized in the way that it could be monetized. And, I'm in an industry where people are making, thousands of dollars for a fraction of the work that most producers and TV hosts and personalities and content creators are making. And I'm like, these stories that are being shared, all of the work that's going in, all the investment that's going into doing this, there needs to be a way for that to happen for them as well. And so that was a lot of the motivation to really making sure that coming in as a network host, a producer, being a part of the network, understanding this is a business. So how are we going to take your idea, your concept? Maybe you've already started some things, or maybe you're just launching into some things. How do we take that and really create a media brand and a business around it, where we can make sure that it's not this feast or famine. Oh gosh, the industry is shut down. Now I make no money. And it's like, why is that? It was like, no, it needs to be a better way to go about doing that. And so I think those are all really great points. And it kind of moves me into the whole monetization structure, because there's a lot you can do in streaming TV that is not being done across the streaming TV industry. That we're doing in the network. So we're doing things very different. And I want to talk about some of those monetization opportunities. They're different from some of our counterparts in the streaming space, as well as what you could do in social media, because you're very limited. We work so hard to get a very limited slither of money. I'm like, oh my gosh, this has to be a solution. Because if I keep seeing people like working their tails off for years to get like a slither of something that I know they can get in the next 30 to 45 days, or no, actually way more than that, and we're going to talk about that, I'm like, I think I'm going to pull all my hair out. So let's talk about monetization, not just only in the streaming TV space, but the way KP Media TV Network, KL Jones Network, the way that our community does it, because we do something completely different. And so, Elle, if you want to chime in here, I mean, we have so many different, opportunities within the space, but if you want to chime in and kind of share some things around that and kind of what you've seen personally, you've done some things on your docuseries last year. You've worked with several remote production clients within the network. So can you share with us on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, you just touched on it, but it's about leverage. We have Karen, the leverage lady, who will be joining us again momentarily, but it's what I offer. I'm confident that the majority of my colleagues in my industry cannot. And even if they did have access to a platform similar to what we have, it's under the hood. It's what's under the hood that makes the vehicle operate in the way that it does. So a Bugatti is not going to operate the same way a Hyundai does. And that's just being real, you know what I'm saying? And so they're both
that's shocking.
they get you to the same place, but the operation is much different, and therefore the experience is different as well. And so there's, monetizing, selling commercial spots, right? That's just one way. That's the really basic go-to way that a lot of people do, or getting a sponsor for whether it's your short film, your docuseries, your talk show, whatever that is. But then even beyond that, it's what happens as a result of those things that then leads to monetization. So being featured in major publications, which I won't drop the hat yet for those who haven't seen it out, though I'll pass that ball back to Keisha so she can share. But we had really major feature this week, right? Actually, a couple. And so then that leads to more visibility that then opens the door to more opportunities from a monetization standpoint. But then you have all of these other things. One of the things that we'll be launching, without giving a lot away, with the Beauty Behind the Brand live series, is a private membership for viewers. And so you can watch Beauty Behind the Brand live for free. There's no subscription required for you to watch it like it is like with Netflix or something like that. But then if you want to get exclusive access to behind the scenes content, special interviews, merchandise, events, any of those things, that all happens behind a membership, which is a paywall. So that's an extension of my show that I'm then able to monetize. And it doesn't have to be anything astronomical, but for the number of viewers that I had, that people were like, oh my gosh, I love the show, I want to be on it, or I love it, can you bring it back? Then they have an invested interest to then become a part of that membership, because they already know the content is great. The experience has already been created. The standard has already been created. So now those people are raising their hands like, when are you ready? Sign me up, right? That's one way.
That's why our strategy is so beast. And our monetization is so beast, because we have strategy. That is the difference. It's not just about saying like as she was saying, this strategy just kept popping up. That is the difference in the network, the community, and why there has been so much success with that in particular, because it's not like you just come on in, distribute, and you got to figure out your marketing. You got to figure out your PR. You got to figure out how you're going to do your thing to monetize or get a few coins or whatever. It's not like that. Just like Elle said, you're talking about these different extensions. You're talking about brand partnerships. It's not just like bullet point, but it's the how-to. Because I don't believe in theory, like just teaching a bunch of theory and then people are fumbling around trying to figure it out. It's like, no, let's get practical, right? Let's get practical. What do you have? What is your concept? Have you ever thought about these particular things? Oh, have you ever thought about going after this particular brand, this particular advertiser? Okay, and this is how you do it. And so I feel like that is like the biggest difference for us, because you're not in a silo. You don't have to, although, because there's a lot of content creators, those in media, TV and all that do not have necessarily a business background. So they don't look at it like business. They don't look at it as business. And so when you bring people to the table that do have a business background, are able to lend to that conversation and what they're doing creatively, it what you just said, it ends up being an explosive opportunity. And that's what we've seen. And, I always think about Karen, let me put you on mute. Yeah. I always think about Karen, and maybe she can chime on here in a second, as far as her being the leverage lady, but just even recently having a newer network host. She's been with us probably a little over a month. She came in, she took one workshop that I did, and then the very next week she stepped in with 5 sponsors, paying her anywhere from $400 to $1,100 for a show she hadn't even launched yet. With it the day one. So this is without even waiting on a threshold to happen on a platform, waiting till you get to a certain, number in order to monetize. It's before all of that. And a lot of it is just the information and education that you'll have access, because it's one thing, it's one thing to kind of know, like, oh, okay, I know that people are doing it. But then it's another thing to actually have the tools and the right steps and everything you need to actually do the work. And so that's what makes the biggest difference. And Karen, if you're here, if you want to chime in on this part of it, you can. But I'll go ahead and speak for Karen, and then just interrupt me, Karen, if you hear me and you want to chime in. But with Karen, she came on the network last year. She has 2 shows that she's going to be launching. I think will be rolling out within the next month. And with her even, okay, hold on, let me see. I think she's popping on. Okay, I'm going to remove her until she pops on all the way. So with her, like within her first 30 days, she had over 14 brand deals. If you've heard me in any other space, you've heard me talk about it before. And all she did was follow the framework. She followed the framework. And it takes somewhat of a mindset shift, because a lot of people come in like with that social media thinking of, oh, I have to do this or do that, or can I charge more than $50? I don't think we don't do anything for $50. And so, having a community that's really like educating around that and really showing you what you need to do as far as your content is concerned, and whether it's films, documentaries, a series that you have that was a web series, or if you're launching something new, all of those opportunities and everything that we have is accessible for you to really make some real money with a profitable media brand. So Karen, can you hear us?
Oh my gosh, tech issues. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but you're
Can you hear
froze.
me? Oh, you can't hear me. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me or not?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this one I'm gonna do.
Okay, I'm gonna take Karen off and let her get her life together with that live stream camera. Okay, look, we didn't just talked about the people. A funny moment here. The people that not doing this whole thing. Oh wait, did she pop back in? Okay.
You still have to kind of just keep the flow going, and when she's ready, you'll be able to see.
Yeah, no, she's okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, so that was the biggest thing as you were talking, Elle. The strategy part is the difference, right? And then the community. What do you have to say, Allison? Because I know you are starting to work on that part of things with your show.
Yeah, I think for me, what I like the most is that I have complete autonomy to do what I want. I can use my creativity and decide how I want to do it, decide how I want the show to benefit my business. And I think that's really cool. Because like you said, a lot of other networks, you're like really structured into how they want you to do it, like, or the percentage you have to give them, or you're only allowed to work with the sponsors that they approve of, right? Like I have complete creative control over my show. And I think that's amazing. So I love what Elle's doing. I love that she's having a membership. Like that's a great idea. Like there's so many different ways you can expand your brand. And I just think that's incredible. So I'm excited to do it, obviously, for my show.
Yeah,
that creative flexibility to do what you want to do with your own stuff is kind of like that's icing on the cake, cherry on top. You really do have the opportunity to do some however creative you can be. And all of those extensions are very much so available if you're doing things outside of the space. If you've thought about programs or services or things like that outside of even your media brand and what you're doing as far as your shows, all of those are opportunities. So yeah, very true. And then
I also want to touch on or kind of step into, because the show format is just one format of the different types of content that's distributed through KP Media TV. But then there's also docuseries, documentaries, and films, right? And so there's even a monetization model for that. And the opportunities that happen. So even if you have a film or a limited series. So again, for me with Beauty Behind the Brand Live, it was originally designed to be a limited series of 12 episodes. But because of the production value, because of the stories, because of the connection that the viewers made with each of the guests, they absolutely loved it. So we're coming back with the season 2 because that's what the people asked for, right? So it's also about creating experiences. And then now Beauty Behind the Brand is an extension. It's a brand extension all on its own. Like that wasn't a design. That was like a beautiful thing that happened as a result of the doing and then being in community and then having that distribution piece. Another model is you can take a film and then create a series around it. We have another producer, and I don't want to share anything that other people don't want shared, so I won't say her name, but we have another producer within the network and she has a film. And we had a call last week about how she can leverage that film to create these multiple different types of media projects and then be able to bring in money for her, as a result, or monetize it, beyond just having her film distributed on the platform. And so there's so many different ways. But again, going back to that community piece, this is what happens in community. It literally is. It's not just a group, right? We're a Facebook group or something where people come. It's a full-on membership. There's a membership portal with tons of resources, always open to updating, right? And adding in additional value. Keisha hasn't even announced like some of the other stuff that's available with the platform.
Yeah.
But then in that mastermind, what happens is you can raise your hand and say, hey, I'm having a problem figuring out this whole monetization piece. I see you all are doing it, or some of you are doing it, but I'm struggling with how I can do that. We come together collectively to develop a solution.
Yeah.
And everyone wins. We're all doing the same thing. We're just doing it in a different way. And so there's no competition. It really is this community vibe and tribe where people want to see you win. Because guess what? When Allison wins, I win.
Yep.
When
Elle wins, we win. When we all win.
Everyone wants to see everyone win. And there's not a limit to the resources and creativity and out of the box ideas and innovative ways to do things. But I think people get so caught in this tunnel vision of this is the way this thing has always been done. That's the only way to do it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't have new platforms, new businesses, new products and services that are launched every single day that actually take off and really serve a purpose. And so I wanted to add that piece back in with the mastermind pieces, even beyond community. Yes, community is the staple. It's the center point of it all. But we'd be here literally for at least another hour just talking about the different ways to monetize. And I don't know about you, but we show up and give a lot of free value, right?
A lot. It's a full-blown mastermind. So look, I like that you mentioned that. So when you want to get to comparing, like what KP Media TV, or try to understand what it is, you're literally comparing a mastermind. So go find like one of those high-level masterminds with distribution, with marketing and PR, with I mean, it's just endless. Like this past week, and like, I'm trying to like go through these bullet points mentally, and I can't even get through them all. But I just offer, because I'm always creating stuff anyway, and inside the community, I just love bringing value. But one of the things that we had announced is for our hosts to be able to pitch media. So when we, as an agency, because I do have an agency, an actual marketing and branding agency, which is Pink Icing, which supports KP Media TV, when we get media opportunities for different topics that I feel that resonate with some of the brands, the network hosts, the personalities, the producers as part of the community, I will put those out. And then our community, whoever is interested in those, can then pitch the media for those particular opportunities. So like even that, and just recently too, we're now creating an entire library and database of all types of resources to support, whether it's film funding or like whatever the case, tools to help with production, whatever that is. We are always improving and creating more value. And so I think too, that's what makes us very different. We're always evolving. Like we're always getting better. We're always adding more value. It's all about excellence. And because of that, what's incredible, and you don't find this a lot in communities, everyone is wanting to show up in that way. So no matter where it is that they're starting from, because we have various levels of where people are starting, they might have been approved coming on the network because everyone has to be approved. Their concept, we're very much so about resonating with their concept, who they are as a professional, and the things that they want to do as far as legacy is concerned and all that. Those check boxes have to be checked off. It just has to, it has to resonate. But even with them, coming and being a part, I lost my train of thought. Go, Elle. I think Karen's having work. It keeps flickering at me, and I'm like,
it's okay. No, because this is a great segue when you talk about like this whole comprehensive model. And so, and anything that we share, it's never from the place of knocking any other thing, platform, or place. Like that is not what we do. I am a firm believer that much like you have with your financial portfolio, your business portfolio, your media portfolio needs to be extremely diverse, right? You need to be able to diversify it. So that means that no one singular thing is going to work all of the time or should be the only thing that you rely on. And so this comment is more so for people who are content creators who have web series, short films, docuseries, or even a full-length film, a feature-length film, excuse me, where distribution comes in. If we look at, a big distribution company, I won't say any names, but sometimes, yeah, they're paying you for to license your content and distribute it on their platform. And so how KP Media differs, again, and Keisha talked about this very early on, but for those of you who are just tuning into the replay or just joining us, welcome. This is a subscription model. And so we have had conversations with people who bring that up, and we've never hit it. It's very, if you go to the KP Media TV site, you'll see it right there. It's glaring in your face, right? But here's the thing, you will pay one way or another. So whether that's on the front end or the back end. Now, with a traditional streaming television distribution platform, that is all you're getting. Unless it's like a Marvel movie or something like that, and then even then studios pay for the marketing, the advertising, all of that. As an independent content creator, regardless of where you fall, whether you're an expert, thought leader, entrepreneur, or you're on more of the creative side as a producer, a filmmaker, or, a content creator of some sort, whatever you resonate with as your title, there are those people that are in between. And KP Media TV provides the solution for that in between. So you have the opportunity to have your own content distributed on your own channel. Like when you come to KL Jones Network, KEJN, you become a network partner, which means you have your own channel on my network, right? Who does that? Where do you get that from? You're not going to Netflix to get it. ABC is going to answer the phone and say, hello, who? Oh, okay, I don't know you, right? So it's not this thing that just happens. You have to know people that know people. Sometimes money talks. Even on platforms, and to Allison's earlier point about YouTube, and I said we kind of come back and revisit that. Everybody thinks that YouTube is the end all be all to distribute your content. YouTube is a tool to get your message out there, build brand awareness. But the way that most content creators, it's really more designed, especially now with the way it's trending, it works for those who have like how-to videos or quick educational videos. But if you have a show or a film, and we've talked to people in the industry who are taking hits because their views are being suppressed on their content, they're losing out on, money. There's different thresholds that you have to have for monetization. So then there's this idea that a lot of the social media platforms, albeit that they're free, it has become this pay to play system. Yeah. And so I'm not saying don't pay for ads, right? I've used ads before. I pay for ads. My husband, uses ads for his business. You should be doing that as a business owner at some point, but you should not be putting all of your eggs in one basket, right? Even if you are fortunate enough to get a distribution deal with Netflix, if you're a one and done, then that works. Fine. Have at it. Have fun.
And then look, Elle, I think people miss this too. Even when you get that, there's still all type of business types of tasks you're going to need to do, marketing and everything else for your stuff. They're not going to just you're just there. That's it.
Yeah. So that's my point is do you have a marketing budget?
Yeah.
Do you have all of these other things in play? Do you have access to a publicist? Can you pay a publicist? I really wish we would have had my friend Nakia McLean on here. She's a publicist because it costs a lot of money to do business, whether you're a creative or a non-creative. It costs money to do business. It costs money to get your message out into the world. And I think people need to understand that you're going to invest one way or another. My preference is that I invest in my own platform where I can create my own content and have that creative control that Allison was talking about, but also then be able to create opportunities for other people to do the same. And if I have a project that I feel like, I want to take it to Netflix, now I have more leveraging power because they see what I've already been able to do on my own. Right now, obviously, it has to be great story, great production values, all these other things that go into it. It's not just about having a cool story or a cool video. It goes well beyond that. But my point is that this gives me more leverage to do anything that I want to do anywhere else. And you need to have a diversified media portfolio. That's just the bottom line. So yes, use YouTube. I'm not saying don't. Yes, use Facebook. Yes, use Instagram, LinkedIn, if you're approved to do it, all of those different things. But what are you doing? Where are you creating and distributing that you either own or have ownership in?
Yeah, very important.
That's what's important when we talk about legacy. That's how you get to legacy. It's also about the opportunities that you're able to create for other people. So through a partnership with the KL Jones Network and KP Media TV, we're now able to bring in actors and content creators who haven't been able to do anything during this pandemic or have been very limited in what they've been able to do, and then give them their own show through a new project that we're launching on our live shopping network. And then we get to match them with brands. So that's where Karen comes in. We have this whole brand matchmaking thing going on. So then they're able to not only stay in front of their audience, but even show casting directors and producers and whatnot the breadth of their experience and talent. But then they're able to make money while they're still working in the industry and trying to book jobs, because now they have their own piece of media that no one else controls, and it just puts them at the top of the list and it helps them to stand out above the 100 other people that are auditioning for the same role.
I almost forgot about the streaming. There's so much. If you have not realized it this past hour, there literally is so much. I almost forgot about that. Like literally every other day, I feel like there's something else that we're adding, that we're expanding into. I mean, it's just incredible. And yeah, that's just another, back to our points, is like, we're not just distribution. We are an ecosystem of all of the looking at it through the lenses of business and building legacy and building.
And very basic.
Yes.
Branding, marketing, advertising, production, monetization, streaming TV, distribution.
That's what we are.
Your digital solution.
So like I said, your digital solution.
Oh my God.
Your comprehensive digital solution.
Yes. So now that kicks it. So whatever, if somebody can get real creative and give us a name of what we are with all 7 of those. Oh my gosh, yes.
Education piece with the masterclass stuff. So that's really that's 8 actually. Well, 9, because we can keep going, because
then next week there'll be 10 more.
There's the virtual events. There's even for filmmakers, like you have a film, and the film festivals, they had to pivot this year and figure out. Some of them canceled and didn't do it at all, but then other ones, they shifted and did something else. So then you even have this opportunity to have a film festival that is distributed globally on television, but then you can have it behind a paywall where people are coming. You can have people submit their projects. So then it disrupts even the film festival circuit in a way.
Man, it is so much. It's so much. If any of you that are still here with us have questions that you want to chime in with as we wrap up these last few minutes, feel free to do so. But literally, like, and I know there's other things that I'm probably not even thinking of right now, Elle, that we're not thinking of.
Yeah, we had a full 2-hour conversation today, and we didn't even touch on half of what we talked about. So.
Exactly. I know. And then I do want to talk about wins and upcoming things, because that will end up being like a whole thing. And I'm just, one of our, before I get to wins, I do want to talk about who you kind of mentioned several of them already, Elle, but who this is for, talking about anything that we didn't cover already, who it's for, and how they could really leverage the platform to maximize what they do in business with their content, films, whatever it is that they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so, my list, mainly is, obviously, network host, like, you see a lot of different TV hosts and they call themselves like they could be TV hosts. And then you have the web series type hosts, those folks. And then also TV personalities, celebrities and influencers. I'm going to get into a little bit of that when we wrap up, as far as the business side of what each of us are doing and what we are specifically as an agency doing for influencers and celebrities and artists that have a following and that have all of those things in place already as far as engagement, but don't necessarily have the systems and the monetization coupled with something like streaming TV, a way to distribute in that way. And so I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. We kind of talked already about event promoters and opportunities that we have in the event space and kind of what you can do with the pay-per-view model. But is there anything that we omitted or that you can think about, Elle or even Allison, as it relates to just opportunities for hosts or producers, filmmakers that we haven't discussed already as far as on the network? What are some other things that they can think about?
I think that's a really broad question. Honestly, I don't want to dig into it because, again, it's just a lot of listing what it is. And people at this point, like, we've given a lot of information. So if, people are tuning in and they have questions, or even if they're watching the replay, because we could, the list.
Okay, so let's say this. Yeah. If you are, I will say this. So it's not a question for the ladies. If you are if you're a host of some sort, TV host, if you have a web series, if you're a producer, a filmmaker, if you're doing content either on, YouTube or Instagram, whatever that kind of looks like for you in the social media space. We talked about event producing and production, things like that. If you're a promoter, if you're creating content at all and you see yourself, you've self-identified in the last hour of us talking about just the different placements and opportunities you have with the network, definitely connect with us. We would love to kind of explore some things with you and see if that, is an opportunity, if there's an opportunity with us and things resonate and all of that good stuff. So definitely connect with us. But I do want to finish up. I'm going to go you first, Allison, on the business side. I want you to talk about a little bit what you do and kind of what your show is on the network. Let's talk about that and where people can find you as well. And then I'll wrap up and finish up with Elle, and we are going to be out of here. We're literally over an hour. So I want to kind of wrap this up and kind of be mindful of everyone's time. But
of course, I'll be super quick. So I am a manifestation expert, and my business is called the Manifestation Society. And my show is going to be on KP Media, launching April the 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is called the Manifestation Society with Allison Carver.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Congratulations on that. That's huge.
Thank you. I'm really, really excited to see where it goes, because I know this is just the first step to many, many, many more. And I'm just excited that it's here with all of you. Like, this is exactly where I was meant to be. So
yeah, I'm excited for you. Go ahead, Elle, you're up.
I was going to say, we have some super fun things planned for her show. So I'm really excited about that too.
Me too.
So you wanted me to talk about the business aspect of what I do? I think
so we're just let them know, because we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. So just let them know your business and anything that you have going on with the network that they can tune into.
Absolutely. So through my brand consultancy and media production agency, I help, whether you're a content creator, an expert thought leader, or somewhere in between, I help my clients to build their personal brand and scale it, leveraging the power of media. And so we dig into storytelling, brand messaging, on-camera presence, how to connect with your audience, how to connect with brands, and position yourself as an authority. In this framework that I like to say, we help to make you media attractive, media ready, and media worthy. And you need to have all three, right? And that has very much to do with being very clear on what your story is, being very clear on what your message is, having that magnetic on-camera presence where people are drawn in and want to pay attention to you and listen to you, and then take action on what you're asking them to do. But then when we get into the media development side of that, we also help our clients to develop their ideas, whether it's for a TV talk show or a series, a docuseries, and yes, even a film. So we get into the TV and film development piece, and then we get into the packaging of that project, what that looks like. We get into the production of that project, and then the distribution and monetization of that through the KL Jones Network. Can't hear you.
Okay, what about now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm having now. Okay, here we go.
Oh, and then obviously my show. So I have
what you do on the network.
Full of people who would like to be guests on Beauty Behind the Brand. So right now, I literally have, with the new format of our show, enough guest inquiries for 2 more seasons. So
That's awesome. Congrats on that.
I
just want to thank you guys, the ones that showed up live. And if you're watching on the replay and you've gotten this far, thank you for joining us. Tamika and Corey, Beverly, Sabrina, Toya, and everyone else. If I did not mention you, we love that you have tuned in with us live today. And again, if you want to connect, please feel free to connect. Our site is over at kpmedia.tv, so you can find out a bunch of information over there. Obviously, I'm here on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. If you want to reach out there, you heard what Elle is doing, what Allison is doing. Definitely tune in. We have a Facebook page, KP Media TV, and that has all of our, running shows and things like that. We will be, as far as upcoming things and wins, I want to just end with that, and then we're going to sign off. But we will actually be taking majority of our live social engagement that's connected to our network on our web app. So right now, the way our live social engagement works, it works in conjunction with Facebook. So as the live shows are going out on the KP Media TV network across all of those streaming platforms, it also then goes to Facebook, where we're able to use the live chat feature. The new thing is we've upgraded what's going on with our web app. We have an actual web app as well as all of the streaming TV. And so now the live broadcast that will happen will also have a live social engagement type of stream going there. Just like with Facebook, woo woo, it's part of like us continuing to evolve, right? And so I love that. That's going to be incredible for everyone on the network. We're really excited about having that. I also want to give a shout out to all of our newer hosts that have come aboard on the network and producers. We love you all. If you tuned in here with us today, thank you so much for your support. We also have
Can we pause right there for a second? Because I don't think you even take the time to absorb what is happening. It is I don't know if people really know how long KP Media TV has been around. It's less than a year old, and it's been consistent, rapid growth, but it's been accelerated growth in the last 2 to 3 months. Mm-hmm. And so the idea that this is something new and different, there are people who actually see the value in it and believe in the opportunity that's available for them. Because again, we could talk all day about what we think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, we're benefiting from it in some way, but to Tamika's earlier point, it's great to hear someone like Allison who's coming in from a different perspective and what her experience is even before launching her show, but then what she's really excited about as well. But then the growth of this thing really speaks to the value that people see in this opportunity and how they can really grow. And then also the other thing was that it's because there's, been kind of not this pushback, but people have genuine concerns or thoughts about the viability of streaming television as the world begins to open back up. People are getting vaccinated, and so they're feeling a lot safer and being able to go out into movie theaters. I know out in LA today, they just opened back up movie theaters, right? And so people are starting to get back to a new sense of normal. And so then there's this question of, well, how viable is something like this? I had a conversation with someone several weeks ago that was in the industry, and they said, well, what's the difference between this and Quibi? Because Quibi was like a big thing. It's, short form video, and they got Hollywood producers to buy into this idea of doing this short form video in portrait mode. And Quibi is no longer, right? It was just acquired by Hulu not too long ago. And so then there's this idea of what's the viability behind it? As the world begins to change again, are people going to be wanting to be at home watching their televisions? And the answer is there's always going to be some of everything, right? whether it's you consuming content on your phone, you consuming content on your computer or laptop, or you consuming content on, your tablet or your iPad or on your television. And we have a good mix of both. If you want to go to the movie theater, you can, but then sometimes you don't want to go out, but you still want to catch the latest film. And you have the opportunity to do that through streaming television, as we can see with a lot of the major studios. The other thing is KP Media TV has just released a web app. So you can take KP Media TV on the go and watch it from your device, right? And so it's this thing that continues to grow. And the other part about community is that we all listen. And so no one professes to have all of the answers or ideas. And people can come into the community and say, you know what, I think it would be really cool if we offered this. And if, Keisha and her
Don't
team,
tell me that, because I get...
Well, I just said you and your team have been like really great to implement those things and at rapid speed. And so it's been just mind blowing to watch and be a part of. And so again, we could go on all day and all night about the great things that we love and think about, but I think it's time to like get into the wins and some of the exciting news and what's to come forward, because I am itching. And I need, not itching literally, but like I'm itching for the news to come.
I know, it's so exciting. And then you ladies share too what you've seen as far as your wins. And there, even those have just been like, there's been so many. When I think about, the network as a whole, individual producers and hosts, it's really, that's even becoming an endless thing that's happening. And so one of the big things that has happened this past week even is we signed and Patrice Lovely, and I'll tell you who she is if you don't know her by that name, of Lovely Diva Productions, also known as Ma and formerly known as Hattie Mae on the Tyler Perry Productions. She is now part of the KP Media TV family in partnership with KL Jones Network. Yes. So that's super exciting for us. Again, like I said, our community is so diverse. Like when it comes to the social media end all the way to the TV end. And then we have some that are in both big network and independent with the network. So which is an incredible opportunity as well. Some of the upcoming things that we have slated for this year and projected is we will hit over 1 million viewers this year for the network. It is going to happen. I'm already saying that, but it's not just to throw out a number there and say it. We have, we're in conversations with quite a few things that is going to definitely push that number over. And it's, strategic partnerships and things like we've done with Patrice Lovely and some things that we'll be doing in Broadway theater, event experiences, and then also with event promoters and other talents and different people coming to the network is truly going to make this an incredible space to be in. So to that question where you say you get that slight pushback or what about this and how are you guys different? We're different in so many ways because really starting from looking at this really as a business and making decisions based on what's good for business and what's good for the individual network hosts, producers, supporters that are a part of it, and looking at it through those lenses of, okay, what do they need to do in order to have a well-rounded business within the community and ecosystem, but that also affects the entire network and brand so that it's all successful. We look at it that way. And so when you're looking at it that way from a business perspective, it doesn't just become just a thing that's up there or an app and just distribution that could go away tomorrow. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And again, like we're always evolving and creating, and me being in the tech and marketing space, I always have my finger at the pulse with different shifts and changes in the industry, even as it relates to like the marketing side of things, what's happening in social media. And so we're ahead of things. Mm-hmm. The network was built out almost a year ago. Around this time is when I made the decision to invest in it because I knew that we would be here today. So when it comes to the foresight and the things that need to shift and change and things that need to evolve and be added, that very much so is a part of the success of what we're having. And then the community piece is just a whole nother thing within itself. So really excited about, kind of the numbers that will be coming in. We also have several different concepts I'm really excited about. Can't talk too much in detail about it, but one of them that will be going for an award, and a pretty big award that is going to be produced on our network as well. So I'm already claiming that we'll be an award-winning network. People, they're not doing it like the KP Media TV and the KL Jones Network family. They're just not. And like Elle said, we could talk about this literally all day. We'll hang up here and we forgot to tell them about this, that, and the other. So that's been great. We had PR this week. We're in Market Watch, as well as Digital Journal, and several other places for the work that we all did in the Clubhouse app. We did several events there as well. The casting room, we did Clubhouse Got Talent, huge success with that. Thousands of people that came through for that. All types of amazing talent that we were able to experience there, hundreds of pitches and things like that. I want to also give a shout out to I don't want to butcher the name. Hold on. Tamika's last name, Briscoe. I was like, I didn't want to butcher her last name. So Tamika Briscoe, as well as Donna Marie. What's Donna Marie's last name?
Donna Marie Reed, Gino Brooks. There's a
it's a whole tribe.
whole crew.
It's a whole tribe.
Craig Williams, William Andre Buchanan. It's a whole tribe of folks that are actually in the film and television industry, but specifically those folks, Zosimo, like you said, Tamika, they're all incredible people. Byron, Miles, Greers, you got to check these folks out. They are doing incredible things. Jason Taylor, Tanya Kersey, all of these folks that are really, really super supportive of what we've created thus far. And they care, right? They lean in, they want to learn more, they genuinely care, and they want to learn more and how we can collectively come together and support one another. And that's just beautiful to me, right? Danita Patterson, I feel like, when you're at the show and you start
Clubhouse TV.
Yes, you start running down names. It's I got my you don't want to forget anyone, but these are all people who have been pivotal in our rapid growth in some fashion. We literally, just the way that we've been able to show up and serve has only been because of the powerful and very strong and gracious community that we have around us. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Yes. And there's a lot more.
It's all about community. And if this doesn't, for those of you kind of off topic a little bit, but this is a lesson through everything we talked about when it comes to when you're doing business out here in these streets. And all this
business out in these streets.
These social media streets. But it is about community. It really is. Don't be, when people want to keep, be information hog and, want to think about the competition and all of that, you really lose out on some amazing opportunities and some brilliance to come into your space, because you're not going to know it all. You're not going to have all the answers. People have different perspectives that you need to know about that could really enhance what it is that you're doing in your space. And like Elle mentioned, that rapid growth cannot take place if you don't have people that are buying in and supportive of what it is that you're doing. It just doesn't happen. It's like one person trying to go, it just doesn't happen like that. So I would encourage you, whatever it is that you're doing with your content, your business, whatever it is that you're doing in the world, always be very much so open to having a tribe, a community, and, you'll attract more of that. And that's exactly what's happened for us when we stepped into Clubhouse. We were already built to embrace community. And so it ended up being something that continued to attract. And so I am grateful and thankful for all of the people that Elle had mentioned that continue to support in their spaces and come alongside us when needed. And so thank you, ladies and gents, for all of that, of what you've been doing these last several months. And any final comments, ladies, and we are going to wrap it up. Allison, you have anything final?
Not that I can think of. You guys covered it. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about all the things you just said.
so excited.
Not that we can talk about it, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, right. Like I would say just on the tail of the wins, obviously you just announced with the Patrice Lovely piece and coming to the KL Jones Network, which I'm thrilled about. The features, the media features with Digital Journal and Market Watch just this week. Yes, Market Watch, like the Market Watch. And so many other platforms. We all have been invited to speak at different, on different stages in some capacity or another, to collaborate on different projects. There's so many other things that we can't even talk about right now. But one of the other things, as if it wasn't enough to be excited about, is this collaboration that we're currently working on, where we're launching a live event. Yeah. And it's a live event that's going to be distributed on television as well. And so it's just cutting edge, really innovative stuff that you don't typically see. The event is called The Breakdown. That's all I'll tell you, but you better save your coins and your calendar time for late summer. We will be sharing more information about that coming soon. But really, at the end of the day, the question that I guess I would leave everyone with, this would be my final comment, is really a question. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for? And what are you willing to do today to make sure that you create that legacy, but also ensure that it's a legacy that reaches far and wide and has an incredible impact on the lives of other people? That's what I'll leave you with.
That's it. That's all, folks. Mic drop. Have a wonderful rest of the morning, evening, wherever you are in the world.
I know. Poor Sabrina. It was Sabrina. She was holding on from the UK. She was like, "Okay, I gotta go to bed now."
Like, it's midnight. But we love spending the time with you all today. And again, just reach out to us if you need any support in any of the areas that we talked about today. We would love to support you, connect with you, and learn more about what it is that you're doing in the space. But other than that, have a wonderful rest of day, evening, or wherever you are. Bye.
Bye, everybody.